The jungle planet was alive. Every leaf, every branch, every shadow seemed to move with a life of its own. Sounds of creatures, big and small, echoed through the thick green canopy. Birds with shining feathers screamed high above. In the dense undergrowth, small animals scurried for safety. But there was one sound that sent a shiver through the jungle, the roar of the apex predator. It was enormous. Scales glinted under the faint sunlight that pierced through the treetops. Its claws could tear a tree trunk in half. Its jaws could crush bone with ease. Every creature in the jungle knew its name, though no one dared to speak it aloud. Even the predators that usually ruled the forests trembled at its approach. Among the shadows, someone watched. She was an alien, a female from a highly intelligent species that valued knowledge above all else. Her skin shimmered faintly in the light, and her eyes, deep and dark, scanned the jungle with sharp curiosity. She was not here for a fight. She was here for study, to learn. She had heard the stories, tales of humans, a species small in size, but large in reputation, surviving on the most dangerous planets in the galaxy. Legends said humans could fight monsters, survive impossible conditions, and adapt to anything. She had been skeptical. After all, she had studied every species in her sector, and none had managed to conquer even a single apex predator on this planet. None, that is, until now. A rustle in the trees made her pause. The ground shook slightly, and then she saw him, the human. He looked ordinary at first glance. His frame was smaller than any of the local predators. He carried no large weapon, no advanced armor. His clothes were simple, rugged, and torn in some places. Yet there was something in the way he moved, calm, steady, confident. Every step showed no fear, only awareness. The alien tilted her head. How could someone so small face the monster that terrorized the entire jungle? The apex predator appeared again, stepping into a clearing. Its eyes were like molten gold, scanning, hunting. It growled low and deep, the sound vibrating through the alien's chest. Every muscle in its body was coiled, ready to strike. It had already torn through several large creatures that dared to cross its path. But now, it had something new to observe. A human. The human stopped and looked directly at the beast. There was no weapon raised, no signal of surrender. Only a steady gaze, unwavering. The alien gasped silently. Even from her distance, she could sense the predator's confusion. No prey had ever stared it down like this. Normally, animals ran at the first sign of danger. Time seemed to slow. The human took a step forward. The predator's head lowered slightly, claws digging into the earth. It roared. The sound was deafening, a mixture of anger and warning. Yet, the human did not flinch. Instead, he shifted his stance, moving with a strange rhythm that made him look smaller and faster at the same time. The alien's heart raced. She had never seen a human face danger like this. She remembered the stories she had studied. Humans surviving death worlds, fighting wild beasts, walking through storms that would kill any other species. But seeing it was different. Seeing it made her realize that humans were not just survivors. They were hunters. The apex predator charged. Trees shook, leaves fell like rain. The ground quaked as massive claws dug into the earth. The human waited, and then, at the perfect moment, he moved. He dodged the predator's first strike with speed and precision. The alien blinked. He was smaller than the monster, yet he was faster, smarter. He used the trees, leaping around trunks, using roots and vines to move with fluidity. Every attack from the predator was met with a counter. Every strike anticipated. The predator roared again, more frustrated than before. It had never met prey that fought back, that avoided every strike, that stayed so calm in the face of death. The alien could see its confusion growing. It began to circle the human, searching for a weakness, but finding none. From her hiding spot, the alien leaned forward, trying to understand. How could a species so small be so powerful? How could someone, without weapons or armor, survive against a beast that could crush buildings? She had studied humans, yes, but nothing in the records prepared her for this. The human landed a strike, precise and powerful, to the predator's leg. The beast staggered, its roar turning into a growl of pain. The alien's eyes widened. She had expected the predator to easily overpower him, but it did not. He was different. He was extraordinary. The jungle around them seemed to hold its breath. Birds stopped flying. Smaller creatures froze. Even the wind seemed to pause, waiting to see what would happen next. The human crouched slightly, eyes locked on the predator. Every muscle in his body was ready. He was not afraid, not hesitant, not reckless. He was focused. The alien realized something important. She had been wrong about humans. They were not weak. They were not fragile. They were not ordinary. They were capable of things her species had never imagined. They could face death, challenge the strongest predators, and survive. And perhaps they could even change the balance of power in the galaxy. The apex predator roared one last time and charged again. The human prepared to move, ready for whatever came next. And the alien watched, her eyes shining with awe, knowing she was about to witness something no one in her species would ever believe if she told them. The apex predator's roar echoed through the jungle like thunder. Its massive claws tore through the underbrush, leaving deep scars in the earth. The human remained calm, his stance firm, every sense alert. He did not back away. He did not hesitate. From her hiding place, the alien woman watched with wide eyes. She could not believe what she was seeing. The predator charged, moving faster than any creature she had ever encountered. Its teeth were bared, jaws wide enough to crush a small tree. Its eyes burned with fury, a mixture of hunger and aggression. This was the moment any normal creature would flee, yet the human stayed in place. He waited. The alien felt her pulse quicken. How could someone so small face such a creature? Every instinct screamed that he would die instantly. Yet he did not move until the perfect moment. Then, with a sudden, precise motion, he dodged the predator's first strike. The predator's claws slammed into the ground where the human had stood only a heartbeat before. Rocks and dirt flew into the air. The jungle trembled under the force of its charge, but the human was already moving, light and fast, slipping through the predator's legs, landing behind it. He grabbed a thick branch from the ground. Not a weapon, just a piece of wood, but in his hands it became something more. With a swift motion, he struck the predator's tail. The beast roared again, spinning to face him. Pain flashed in its golden eyes. The alien could see the shock. No prey had ever dared strike it first. The human did not wait. He ran, dodging a swipe of the predator's massive claws, ducking under a snapping jaw, using every tree, root, and vine in the jungle to move faster than the beast could follow. His movements were precise, like a dance. Each step avoided danger. Each motion prepared him for the next strike. The apex predator roared in frustration. It had never met prey that moved like this. Normally, prey ran, panicked, and fell. But the human was different. He was clever, adaptable, fearless. The alien watched closely. She could not look away. Every move the human made was calculated. Every attack he delivered was intentional. Suddenly, the predator lunged. Its massive jaws aimed for the human's shoulder. He rolled to the side, narrowly, avoiding the bite. Then, with lightning speed, he jumped onto the predator's back. The alien gasped. He was smaller than the beast, yet he climbed it as if it were nothing. Using his strength and balance, the human struck at sensitive areas. He jabbed with a branch, hitting joints and weak spots. The predator roared, thrashing violently, trying to throw him off. But he held on, moving with the beast's motion, avoiding every crushing blow. The alien was mesmerized. She had seen warriors fight, seen predators hunt, seen creatures die in violent ways. But never had she seen a human confront an apex predator with such skill, such calmness, and such raw power. Her mind raced. How could a species so small have such strength, such intelligence, such courage? The predator's movements became slower, more calculated. It realized that this human was not ordinary. It could not crush him with sheer strength alone. It had to think, to plan, to adapt. And it did not know how. The human was already thinking faster than it could. The human landed a strong strike on the predator's leg, causing it to stumble. Then he jumped to the side, landing lightly on the ground. His eyes did not waver. His chest did not heave. He was ready for the next attack, ready for anything. The alien took a deep breath. Her disbelief turned into awe. She had studied humans, yes, but she had never understood them. Humans were survivors. They were clever. They were strong in ways no other species could match. And this one, this human, was proving it. The apex predator roared again, louder this time, shaking the trees and scaring nearby creatures. But the human was ready. He ducked under a swinging claw and kicked a rock into the predator's side, making it stumble. Then he ran around it, moving in ways that were impossible to predict. The predator's frustration grew. Every attack it made was blocked or avoided. Every move it tried to use against the human failed. From her hiding place, the alien could hardly breathe. Her mind was racing with questions. How could a human survive here? How could they fight creatures that had hunted entire species to extinction? How could one human challenge an apex predator and still stand, unharmed and calm? The predator paused for a moment, breathing heavily, its golden eyes locked on the human. It circled slowly, testing him, measuring him. But the human did not move backward. He stood his ground, ready, waiting, prepared for the next strike. Then, with a sudden burst of speed, the human attacked. He leaped onto the predator's head, striking precise points that made the beast roar in pain. It flailed violently, shaking its head, but the human held on, landing blow after blow. The alien's eyes widened. She had never imagined a human could move like this, could strike like this, could fight a predator so much larger and stronger without fear. The jungle was silent except for the roars of the predator and the sound of the human's movements. Even the other predators and prey had stopped, sensing the power and skill of the human. The alien realized something important. Humans were not weak. Humans were not fragile. They were hunters, warriors, survivors. They could face the impossible and still win. The apex predator stumbled again, weakening. Its roars turned into growls of frustration. And the human, calm and steady, prepared for the next move, ready to continue the fight until the predator could no longer challenge him. The alien could not look away. She knew she was witnessing something extraordinary, something that would change how she saw humans forever. The battle had only just begun. The apex predator roared again, but this time it was slower, more cautious. Its golden eyes glimmered with confusion and frustration. The human moved like a shadow, fast and precise, never stopping, never hesitating. He had learned the predator's rhythm. Each swipe of its claws, each lunge of its jaws, he anticipated before it happened. The alien watched from her hiding place, heart pounding. Every move the human made amazed her. She had studied countless species, countless hunters, but none had mastered combat like this. He was not just strong. He was clever. He was adaptable. He was fearless. The predator circled, testing him. It snapped its jaws and swung its massive tail. The human dodged, rolled, and struck back with speed and accuracy. He did not aim to destroy carelessly. He aimed at weak points, tendons, joints, sensitive spots. The predator flinched every time. It was the predator's strength against its own weakness, and the human knew exactly where to strike. The alien's mind raced. Humans were not ordinary. They were not fragile or weak. They could face death, fight creatures 10 times their size, and survive. She remembered the stories she had read, humans on death worlds, surviving impossible conditions, fighting monsters and winning. But seeing it was different. Seeing it made her realize that humans were apex predators in their own way. The predator lunged at him again, faster this time. Its roar shook the leaves above, sending birds flying into the sky. The human jumped onto a tree root, using it to launch himself over the beast. He landed on the other side and struck the predator's leg with perfect timing. The beast stumbled, roaring in pain. The alien gasped. She had never seen someone move like this. His speed, his precision, his calm under pressure. It was extraordinary. He was not relying on weapons or numbers. He was relying on himself, his mind, and his body. Every move was deliberate, every strike intentional. The predator's frustration grew. It had never faced prey like this. Normally, creatures ran, screamed, or froze. But this human, he did not run, he did not scream, he did not freeze. He adapted. He fought. He learned with every strike, every dodge, every move. The alien leaned closer, fascinated. She noticed how the human's eyes never wavered. He was constantly analyzing, calculating. He studied the predator's movements, learned its patterns, and used them against it. It was a battle of intelligence as much as strength, and the human was winning both. The predator tried a new tactic, swinging its tail in a wide arc to knock him off balance. The human anticipated it. He rolled forward, narrowly avoiding the strike, and struck at the predator's underbelly. The beast roared in pain, stumbling back. Every blow from the human left it slower, more cautious. It was a predator used to dominance, and now it was learning fear. The alien's admiration grew. She had assumed humans were clever, yes, but she had never expected this. Humans could not only survive, they could dominate, outthink, and outfight even the deadliest creatures. This human was proving it. Every movement, every strike, every dodge was evidence of human mastery over chaos. The jungle seemed to hold its breath. Other predators, usually bold and aggressive, stayed hidden, sensing the human's power. Even the smallest animals paused, watching the battle unfold. The apex predator's roars no longer filled the jungle with terror. Instead, they were a warning that this human was not prey. The human ran forward, ducking under a snapping jaw, and struck the predator's leg again. The beast staggered, its movements becoming slower, less coordinated. The alien could see exhaustion creeping in, but still the predator fought. It was strong, yes, but the human's mastery was greater. He was in control, dictating the fight. For a moment, the alien wondered how many humans there were like this. How many could face impossible odds and survive? Her species had always underestimated humans. They were small, fragile, and unassuming. But here, in the heart of a dangerous jungle, one human had proven them wrong. The predator tried to charge, but the human was ready. He sidestepped, grabbed a thick vine, and swung over its back, landing with a swift kick to its head. The beast roared in frustration and pain. It had never been challenged like this. It had never met a hunter who understood it so well, who could predict every strike and counter. The alien leaned back slightly, trying to process what she had seen. This human was not just fighting to survive, he was teaching, showing the predator. That size and strength alone did not guarantee victory. Intelligence, courage, and adaptability mattered more. The predator was learning this lesson the hard way. The human struck again, targeting weak spots, avoiding dangerous bites and claws. The predator tried to shake him off, but he held on. Every movement was controlled, every action purposeful. The alien realized she was witnessing a rare thing, a human mastering combat against a creature built to kill. The predator roared one last time, furious and in pain. It had lost control of the fight. Its attacks became wild, desperate, and the human, calm and precise, adapted instantly. He dodged, countered, and struck again. The predator faltered, stumbled, and finally, for the first time, it hesitated. The alien's eyes widened. The human had done what no other creature had ever done. He had dominated the apex predator, not through raw strength alone, but through skill, intelligence, and sheer determination. The jungle was silent except for the predator's heavy breathing. The human stood ready, watching, analyzing, prepared for anything. He had learned the predator's rhythm, mastered its attacks, and was now completely in control. The alien realized she was witnessing a turning point. Humans were not ordinary. They were predators in their own right. They could fight, adapt, and survive where others would fail. And this human, this one, was a perfect example. The battle was far from over, but the human had already proven one thing. He was not prey. He was a master of combat. And anyone who doubted humans would soon learn the same lesson. The apex predator's roars shook the jungle once more, but now there was strain in its voice. Its golden eyes, once fierce with dominance, flickered with confusion and pain. The human moved like a shadow among the trees, calm, precise, and in complete control. Every strike he made was measured, every dodge perfectly timed. The alien watched from her hiding place, her heart racing. She had never imagined anyone could face a predator of this size and survive. Yet here he was, not just surviving, but dominating. She felt awe mixed with disbelief. Humans, she realized, were not to be underestimated. The predator lunged one last time, its jaws snapping like thunder, claws slashing through the air. The human dodged, rolling under the massive limbs and landing a strong blow to its flank. The beast staggered, losing balance. Its roars turned into frustrated growls. It had never encountered prey that could move like this, think like this, fight like this. The human circled the predator, keeping just out of reach of its deadly claws and snapping jaws. He used the terrain perfectly. Roots, rocks, vines, all became part of his strategy. With each movement, the predator weakened, growing slower, more cautious. It realized it could not rely on brute strength alone. The human was stronger in another way, smarter, faster, and utterly fearless. The alien could not look away. Every detail fascinated her. The way he studied the predator's moves, the way he attacked weak points, the way he anticipated every strike. She had seen hunters before, skilled and strong, but none like this. Humans were something extraordinary. This one human had faced death and controlled it. The predator tried to rise again, its massive head turning to follow the human. But the human was ready. He leaped onto a sturdy branch, swinging down like a predator himself, landing on the beast's back with perfect balance. He struck at joints, weak spots, muscles that no other creature could reach. The predator flailed, violently, but the human held on. From her hiding place, the alien noticed something remarkable. The human was not reckless. He did not attack blindly. Every movement was calculated, every strike deliberate. He was teaching the predator a lesson. Strength alone does not rule. Intelligence, skill, and courage do. The apex predator roared again, staggering, trying to shake him off. The human ducked under snapping jaws, twisted, and struck again. The predator's tail whipped wildly, but he dodged easily, rolling with the motion and landing another precise strike. The beast stumbled, then fell heavily to the ground, its golden eyes widening in disbelief. The alien's mouth fell open. She had never seen a creature so powerful defeated by a single human. The predator was massive, stronger than almost anything on this planet, yet it had been overcome. It was a moment she would never forget. Humans, she realized, were not weak. They could face monsters and win. They could turn impossible odds into victories. The human stood on the predator's back for a moment, watching, ready, as if making sure the creature could not recover. Then, with a final, powerful strike, he ended the fight. The apex predator lay still, defeated. The jungle around it silent except for the heavy breathing of the human. The alien could not move. She had seen countless battles in her studies, but none like this. This human was extraordinary. He had not only survived but mastered a creature that had terrorized the jungle for years. She realized that humans were more than hunters. They were apex predators themselves in strength, intelligence, and courage. For a moment the jungle was still. Even the smaller creatures waited, sensing the end of the battle. Birds returned to the trees cautiously. Predators that had hidden began to emerge, their eyes filled with a new respect and fear. They sensed the human's dominance, his power, his skill. The alien finally stepped out of her hiding place, her curiosity overcoming caution. She moved closer, careful not to startle the human. She had to see him up close to understand this remarkable being. The human noticed her, but did not show aggression or fear. His eyes were calm, unreadable, yet there was an awareness in his gaze that made her pause. She approached slowly, her mind racing. Humans were not weak, fragile, or ordinary. They were extraordinary. They could face creatures 10 times their size and survive. They could fight, adapt, and dominate in ways her species had never imagined, and this one human had proven it beyond doubt. The human turned slightly, acknowledging her presence without a word. He did not need to speak to command respect. His actions had done that already. The alien felt a mixture of awe and curiosity. She wanted to learn more. She wanted to understand how humans could be so powerful, so clever, and so fearless. The jungle seemed to breathe again, alive with life. The defeated predator lay still, a reminder of the human's skill and strength. Other creatures resumed their activities cautiously, sensing the new order in the jungle. The human, calm and steady, walked away from the fallen beast, his movements fluid, controlled, and confident. The alien followed at a distance, fascinated. She had witnessed the impossible. She had seen a human dominate an apex predator, master it, and survive. She understood now why humans were respected, feared, and sometimes underestimated. They were different. They were capable of incredible things. She realized that humans could change the balance of power in any place they went. They could challenge death, conquer danger, and survive where others would perish. And this one human had shown her the truth in the most undeniable way. Humans were apex predators in their own right. As she watched him move through the jungle, the alien knew something had shifted inside her. She would never see humans the same way again. They were more than small, fragile beings. They were clever, adaptable, fearless, and unstoppable when they chose to be, and she wanted to learn everything she could from him. The jungle was quiet now, but not completely calm. Even after the apex predator had fallen, the sounds of the forest felt different. Smaller creatures cautiously moved around, birds returned to their branches, and predators stayed hidden. The human walked steadily, his eyes scanning the surroundings. He seemed aware of every movement, every sound, every shift in the jungle. The alien watched from a distance, her curiosity growing. She had never seen a being like him before. Not only had he faced an apex predator and survived, he had dominated it. And now, he moved through the jungle with calm confidence, alert but not panicked. She realized that humans were not just strong, they were intelligent, adaptable, and precise. For a long moment, she simply observed him. Then, slowly, she stepped forward, making her presence known. The human turned, his eyes meeting hers. He did not look surprised or alarmed. Instead, there was a quiet awareness, a calm acknowledgement of her presence. The alien felt a strange mix of respect and curiosity. "You fought it well," she said, her voice soft but steady. The human nodded. "It was dangerous, but it had weak points. I used them." His voice was calm, almost casual, as if defeating a massive predator was an everyday task. The alien studied him closely. "Humans, you are unlike any species I have studied. How can one of your kind survive, fight, something that should kill you instantly?" He shrugged lightly. "We adapt, we learn, we don't just rely on strength, we think, we observe, we use what we find around us." His eyes scanned the jungle again, cautious yet confident. Survival is not about being the biggest. It's about knowing what to do and acting fast. The alien nodded slowly. His words made sense. She had underestimated humans before, thinking them small, fragile, and weak. But here, she could see the truth. Humans were clever. They could turn the impossible into survival. They could dominate where others would fail. She stepped closer, curious. "Your species, you are capable of incredible things. On your homeworld, do you always face creatures like this?" The human shook his head. "No. Most of the time we survive through thinking, teamwork, and adapting. But some places, some creatures, you have to fight to live. And we do." His gaze returned to the fallen apex predator. "It's about knowing your limits and testing them." The alien's mind raced. Humans were not just strong individually, they were survivors, innovators, and thinkers. They could face danger, overcome it, and come out stronger. Her species had often dismissed humans as primitive, fragile, and unremarkable. But after witnessing this human, she knew the truth. Humans were extraordinary. A rustling in the bushes drew their attention. Both the human and the alien tensed, prepared for another attack. Out of the shadows stepped a new creature, larger than the first, with jagged claws and glowing eyes. It was clear that the jungle was not done testing the human. The human observed it carefully. He did not panic. He did not run. He moved slowly, assessing the creature, calculating its moves before acting. The alien felt a wave of admiration. Humans were fearless, yes, but more importantly, they were thoughtful and precise. Even in the face of danger, the creature lunged. The human dodged, rolling to the side and striking with perfect accuracy. He used his environment, rocks, vines, and trees, to his advantage. Every strike was deliberate, every movement calculated. The alien could hardly believe it. Humans were not just survivors. They were strategists, hunters, and warriors all in one. The alien stepped closer, silently observing. She wanted to understand everything about humans, how they thought, how they survived, how they could dominate where others failed. She realized that this was more than just witnessing a fight. This was learning, discovering a species unlike any other. The human's movements were fluid, almost effortless, as he fought the new predator. He used speed, precision, and clever tactics to stay ahead of the creature. It was not about strength alone. It was about thinking, adapting, and acting. The alien could see why humans were respected and feared throughout the galaxy. As the fight continued, the alien's admiration grew. She wanted to learn from him. She wanted to understand humans in a way her studies could never teach. She realized that humans had something her species often overlooked: courage combined with intelligence, strength combined with adaptability. They were not just survivors, they were masters of survival. Finally, the human subdued the new predator, forcing it to retreat. He stood, breathing steadily, calm and alert. The jungle seemed to recognize his dominance. Even the small creatures and hidden predators sensed that this human was not ordinary. The alien stepped closer, more confident now. You are extraordinary," she said softly. "Your species, you are capable of things no one expected." The human looked at her, eyes calm but aware. "We survive, we learn, we adapt. That is all." His words were simple, but they carried weight. She could see the truth in them. Humans were not just strong, they were clever, fearless, and unstoppable when they had to be. The alien felt a shift inside her. She had underestimated humans before, but now she knew the truth. They were extraordinary. They could face the impossible, overcome it, and change the way others saw them forever. As she followed him through the jungle, she made a silent promise to herself. She would learn everything she could from humans. She would understand their strength, their intelligence, their courage. And maybe one day she would share that knowledge with her species. The human walked ahead, calm and confident, ready for whatever challenge came next. The alien watched, fascinated. She realized that humans were not just a species to observe. They were a force to respect. A species that could change the balance of power anywhere in the galaxy. The jungle had grown quieter. Even after the two predators had been defeated, the air remained tense. The sounds of distant creatures returned slowly, cautiously, as if the jungle itself recognized the human's dominance. Every tree, every root, every leaf seemed to watch silently as the human moved forward. The alien followed, keeping a careful distance. She had never seen a being like this. Humans were not just survivors, not just hunters. They were something greater. They could face creatures that terrified entire worlds and survive. They could master the impossible, adapt to danger, and come out stronger. Ahead, shadows shifted. Another predator appeared, larger and more dangerous than the previous ones. Its scales were dark and jagged, its eyes glowed faintly in the dim light, and its claws were sharp enough to pierce through steel. The jungle seemed to freeze. Even the birds above stopped their calls. The human stopped, assessing the creature. He did not panic. He did not raise any weapon. Instead, he studied its movements, its posture, its breathing. The alien watched in awe. This was not a human hesitating. This was a human calculating, analyzing, preparing for a challenge that would terrify almost any other species. The creature charged first, claws slicing through the air, jaws snapping. The human dodged with fluid motion, rolling to the side. His balance perfect. He used a nearby vine to swing behind the predator, landing a precise strike on its leg. The beast stumbled, furious and confused. The alien gasped. Humans were not merely reacting. They were controlling the fight. Every movement the human made was calculated. Every strike, every dodge, every twist of his body demonstrated intelligence as much as strength. He was not just fighting, he was teaching the creature a lesson it could never forget. The predator lunged again, faster this time, but the human was ready. He ducked under snapping jaws and delivered a strong kick to its side. The beast roared, in pain and anger, but it could not catch him. Every attack was anticipated, every move was countered. The jungle seemed to watch silently, aware of the human's mastery. The alien's mind raced. Her species had underestimated humans for too long. They had dismissed them as weak, fragile, and ordinary. But this human, standing alone against an apex predator larger and stronger than any known creature, proved them wrong. Humans were extraordinary. They were apex predators in their own right. The human used the environment cleverly. He climbed onto a thick branch, swung over the predator's back, and landed strikes on vulnerable spots. The creature flailed, trying to shake him off, but he held his balance perfectly. Precision, speed, and intelligence, all combined. He was unstoppable. The alien could hardly believe her eyes. She realized humans were not only adaptable but also fearless. They did not panic when danger came. They analyzed, they learned, they acted, and when they acted, it was with perfect efficiency. The human's calm in the face of such danger was more terrifying than the predator itself. Finally, after a series of precise movements, the human forced the predator to stumble and retreat. It roared one last time, acknowledging its defeat, and disappeared into the jungle. The human stood, breathing steadily, alert but calm. His movements were fluid, controlled, confident. He had mastered yet another apex predator. The alien approached cautiously, her respect for him growing with every step. She could see now why humans were so feared and admired across the galaxy. They were small, yes, but they were clever, adaptable, and fearless. They could challenge death and rewrite the rules of survival itself. "You are unlike anything I've ever seen," she said softly. "Your species, humans, you are capable of incredible things." The human glanced at her, eyes calm, steady, aware. "We survive, we adapt, we learn. That is all." His voice was simple, yet it carried undeniable truth. The alien nodded. She understood now. Humans were not ordinary. They were extraordinary. They could change outcomes, redefine power, and survive where others would perish. For a moment, the jungle seemed still. Even the air felt different. Other creatures, small and large, watched silently, sensing the human's dominance. The alien realized that humans were more than just hunters. They were masters of survival, capable of challenging even the most dangerous forces of nature. She took a deep breath. Her understanding of humans had changed completely. She had come to observe, to learn. But now she felt inspired. Humans could challenge death, survive impossible odds, and teach lessons that entire ecosystems could remember. They could reshape perceptions, alter hierarchies, and redefine the balance of power anywhere in the galaxy. The human began walking again, calm and confident, ready for whatever the jungle or the galaxy might throw at him next. The alien followed closely, silently deciding to learn everything she could from him. She wanted to understand humans fully, their strength, their intelligence, and their courage. As they moved deeper into the jungle, the alien realized that she would never see humans the same way again. They were not small, fragile, or weak. They were clever, adaptable, fearless, and unstoppable when necessary. And this one human had shown her all of it, through skill, courage, and intelligence. The jungle, once alive with fear and chaos, had been transformed by one human. Even the apex predators had learned to respect him. Other creatures would tell their young about the human they saw today. And the alien knew she had witnessed a turning point, not just for herself, but for the way her species would perceive humans in the galaxy. Humans were more than survivors. They were masters of survival. They could face death and danger, overcome the impossible, and emerge stronger. They could redefine the galaxy simply by being themselves. The alien smiled slightly, a mixture of admiration and wonder. She knew she had to remember this day, study it, and share it with others. Humans had proven that size, strength, or numbers were not the ultimate measure of power. Intelligence, courage, adaptability, and the will to survive were what made a true apex predator. And the human ahead, calm, fearless, and unstoppable, had shown her exactly what that meant. The jungle held its breath once more, as if acknowledging the truth. Humans were extraordinary. They were apex predators in their own right, and the galaxy, the alien realized, would never forget it.